All right, I got the second one off. That's how much it's going to get shortened, 2 inches. All right, I'm going to clean the edges up on that now and get it ready for the new one. All right, so we got this all set up, all cut, got the jig in place, nice and flush. Got the other side all done, nice and flush. So we ended up taking 2 inches off each side. All right, so that's that. Got to weld them up, and that'll be done. I'm going to switch the slicks over to the bigger rims now.
All right, so we got the ends on it so it centers.
Got to keep tacking it all the way around so it stays free. Now it's nice. So just got to make sure it stays just bit, like that.
Go opposite side all the way around.
I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. This way it's nice and free like that.
And then weld it little by little all the way around.
Yeah.
I'll lay that there.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. So what I did was the hubs that they give you so you can center it, right, and make it level.
Yeah, right? Move that light a little bit so
you see right through it.
No. So
right?
No, it just blurs it out in the camera.
Okay.
There we go.
So we make that level, and then you match it to the other side, so at least they're the same.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they could face any which way you want, but at least they'll be level and the brakes will be sitting in the same spot.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got it tacked in about 8 or 9 spots, so it ain't gonna pull anyway anymore. I think.
Well, just go a little bit and then go on the other side.
I'm not gonna do it all at one shot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you don't have to vault.
Yeah.
We're done.
Then we'll show it.
And there you have it. All done, all welded up. Got both sides done. Everything's nice and free still. Be able to turn everything. Everything nice, spins nice and free. And they're even still a little warm. So they're gonna cool off. Do some paint on there, so that's gonna be done. And tomorrow we can start putting it all back together. All right, see you later. All right, so got this thing ready. Got the pumpkin back in it. Take the jig off. We cleaned it all out, flushed it all nice and clean. Got everything out of there, out of the rear. Drained it all. Made sure there was no shavings or nothing in there. Put a new gasket on it. New grade 8 bolts, locking grade 8 bolts. Put the pumpkin back in, and now I'm just going to lower the rear, slip the drive shaft back into place, and do the axles and the brakes. Almost there. All right, so I got the axles on. I got the brake pad, the caliper brackets on, right? They spin nice and free. Everything's nice, no smooth, no nothing crazy. So that's all fit. They slid right on, nice and straight, no binding on anything. So good with that. I'm gonna put the studs in the axles. These are Mark Williams. Everything's Mark Williams. Mark Williams axles, Mark Williams center section, gears, the whole bit. So I'm gonna put the studs in here. Then they get lock nuts on the inside. They lock in their 5/8 studs. So I'm gonna do that. They're easier to do now that these are in, so then I can hold it with something and lock the back of them tight. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll put the rotors and the brakes back on. All right, so that went together nice and smooth. Everything's still cool. We'll put the brake pads, the calipers, the rotors, all that on now. They got to be shimmed, so they got certain shims. I'm going to make sure that they're the same now. Obviously, they should be. So they got these little shims that go on here between the caliper and the bracket to space out the pads so that so the rotor is centered in the pads. All right. So let me start doing that. You guys can follow along real quick. All right, so the brakes are all done. Calipers, all that stuff's on. I'm going to unhook the shocks, drop the rear down, slip the dry shaft back into the tunnel, and then put the dry shaft loop back in. Put the dry shaft back on the yoke on the rear. Raise it back up. Put the shocks back in place, and then I'll be able to raise it up a little bit and hook up the anti-sway bar. Well, I put the dry shaft in, but I forgot something. I can't raise this back up yet. I got to get the tires switched over to the other rims. So I'm going to switch the tires over to the other rims and then put them on, then raise it back up. So I'm going to change the slicks over. All right, so rather than swapping tires over, I'm going to just put those rims and tires and tubes. They're already balanced. Those are going to go right on Josh's car. And then we'll take the other ones off later on. So for now, we're going to mount the big tires. They are, what are they, 29? 29 and a half by 13s. So I'm going to put them on there. Okay. Well, got one on. What do you think?
As you can see, they're a lot bigger.
Not that big.
I mean, well,
Put them in the two,
inch taller. I mean, you know,
inch and a half taller.
3 inches wider.
About
Right there.
3 inches wider.
That's wide.
Yeah, baby. All right. Needs a little more air right there.
Well, I didn't put it all. I was letting it bleed out still.
Put a little more air in that one, then we'll try putting it on. All right, well, we're going to mount the other one. Get the other one mounted, and then we'll show you what it looks like on the car.